Hey guys, today I thought we would make a very simple typography poster using a font I found on Google Fonts. So this is the poster we are going to make, and again it is very, very simple, and I will show you exactly how we're going to do it. So we are going to start keeping things pretty easy. File, new, and then just make a new document that is 8.5 by 11. Just in case you want to print it out. Hit create, and then we have our new document. So right off the bat, I'm going to go up to document setup, and you've got a whole bunch of options here. Click margins, and then unclick include margins if they're on. Yours might not be on. And eventually this blue line will go away when it's good and ready. I don't know when that'll be. There we go. There's a bit of an annoying delay there. So now we can start making the actual design. So I'm just going to go grab my frame text tool here, draw a frame, and I'm going to start typing in, but I'm going to make it a much bigger type size so I can actually see it and so you guys can see it. So the typeface we are using today is called Girassol, Girassol? I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't really know. So we're just going to say that is correct. And we're going to make sure it is spelled properly, Girassol, because we are doing a typography poster. And I mean, you want to double check that you're spelling everything properly no matter what. But if you're doing a typography poster about the typeface, then you really want to get it right. So now, I like how the R and the A connect. That's a ligature when they connect really nicely like that. Although I don't know about the kerning on some of the other ones. The kerning on these ones seemed a little bit inconsistent, so we're probably going to adjust that a little bit. So let's just grab, I think that one's probably the worst. And I'm just going to hit Shift and pull this down. So if you press Shift, it goes by like larger increments. And if you just press the buttons up and down, it'll just do like by one. But if I press Shift, it goes down by, to 20, 30, 40. It'll go down by 10s or up by 10s. So it's a bit easier to get where you need to be if you hit Shift. And I'm going to do the same with these ones. And this is just the tracking. But when it is individual letters like this, it is kerning. But it's the tracking option in Affinity Designer regardless. So how does that look? Is that slightly better? Let's zoom all the way out. Yeah, that'll do. I think there's maybe a bit too much space in between the G and the I. So we'll do the same. And I think we're good. Okay. So this is our starting point. At this point, you can decide if you want to do... what's the word? This one, small caps. So the typeface is originally created in small caps. So there's no lowercase letters, but you can have it like this, or you can have it like that. I do kind of like that because the forms are just quite nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is get the text, which I did. I got the text from the website where you can actually download the font. And I'm going to bring that to maybe a 14 point and just Control V to paste it all. So this is just some of the text that was included when you downloaded the font. And that's kind of cool. I like that. That's such a cool looking font. I really like that. Okay, so now we want to make it fancy and designy. We want to make it fancy, basically. So I am going to basically just mess around until we get something that we like. So, and we'll maybe worry about colors a little bit later once we have the actual form going. So to start, I think I'm going to put this over here. And if you wonder where that went, you can press the backslash button and it'll unclip to canvas. Or you can go up to here and go view and view mode. Yeah, up here, view mode, and then clip to canvas. So it'll show you exactly what you have. And that's a really great option if you're doing stuff that has shapes going off the page like that. Well, you can barely see that. And you want to see what it looks like when it's just the page. So we're not going to use that, so I'm going to delete it. But I will bring my stuff back so I don't lose it, because I will need this later. So let's see, why don't we take this, and I'm just going to Alt and drag it here so it duplicates it, and then I'm going to convert the whole thing to curves. So now it is just a picture, essentially, or it's just vector shapes rather than an actual font. So we can't change this anymore, but we can still change this one if we really want to. So I'm going to go Control-Shift-G, and now I have ungrouped everything together. You can also, somewhere up in here, you can go ungroup somewhere. I only ever do the keyboard shortcut, so I don't remember where the group stuff is. It's somewhere up in here. Wow, I should know this. Anyway, it's to group, it is Control-G. And to ungroup, Control-Shift-G. If you are on a Mac, it is something very similar to that, although using the command, I would imagine, because that's usually what you do. So now that we have our individual letters, we can decide what we want to do with them. So I kind of like the G. It's got some cool like shapes inside of it. So I'm going to bring this whole thing over here, and then I'm going to Alt drag the G so it duplicates, and then I'm going to make it big, but I'm going to press Shift as well so it constrains to proportions. It's interesting how this line doesn't line up with that. Very interesting, right? That's interesting. But I can do whatever I want with this, so I can make it look like that so it fits on the page nicely, and we can just move this around like that, and maybe make it a bit smaller and have it fit nicely in the little table of the G. Oh, that's cute. So that could be our type poster if we want. That works as a very simple type poster. Or we could do a little bit more. So why don't we make the G even bigger? So I'm going to zoom all the way out. To do that, I am pressing Alt. I'm using the zoom tool down here, and I'm pressing Alt and click to zoom out, and then zoom in as you just click. And let's zoom out again. And I'm going to make this way bigger, again pressing Shift, otherwise it goes crazy. Let's see, how big do we want this? Maybe like that big? I like that you can still tell that it's a G. That's not to be confused with any other letter. It's definitely a G. But what if we bring this down? So this is a typography poster, which means basically we are just being very experimental, and we're playing with the typeface. But that's basically it. So this is it's an exercise or a project, I guess they do often in design school, is, you know, pick a typeface, or here's a typeface, and they'll say make something cool with it, make something that works visually, but that also kind of promotes the typeface a little bit. Like it's just saying, hey, cool, look at this awesome font, you should also use it for things. At least that's how I see it. I know it's more of like an art project, but I see it as promotional for this typeface, or whatever typeface you're trying to display. So we've got our big, enormous G, which is kind of basically where we're getting the majority of our structure from for this poster so far. Now, do I like the placement? I don't know. Do I like the placement? Do I want to bring this back to small caps again? Ooh. It's such a great font that I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to have it big? Do I want to have it small? What if we just make it kind of dip in there like it's melting into the G? Yeah, I don't hate that. We can make it dip, and I'm going to bring it out a little bit so the L lines up and the G lines up. But that would be a lot easier if that was shapes instead. So we'll bring this over here. I'm alt dragging it over there. I'm gonna keep it clipped. And then this version, I will go convert to curves. Now, unfortunately, when it's like that, the R and A have a bit too much space in between them. So I'm going to Control-Shift-G and ungroup that. And I'm going to bring the A over here. And bring the other letters over here. Yeah, that actually works. Okay. And then select it all again. Control-G to group. And I do not need to press Shift because it is automatically doing that for me. But I will just make sure this is flush with this side or aligned. And where do we want it? Maybe I will have it, I want it so the little serifs are kind of dipping into the big G. And so there's nothing weird. Like you wouldn't want to have this. Even if this was lining up perfectly, you wouldn't want to have this because it's just going to look weird. And it's going to look like a mistake. So I think all of that looks good. And then we just want to make it so the L is aligning perfectly with the other side. And then I will bring it up again because that kind of messed with the dip part right there. Okay. Okay. Yep. That works for me. It's like it's just sort of melted and coming out of it. I don't really like, it's not quite as balanced on this side, but it's not terrible. So we're just going to leave that because I think that works. And then next, how's the G? The G is not bad. Yeah, the G is not bad. What if we start adding some color? Are we ready for color? I don't know. Maybe I should add something else. Not this color. This color bad. Make that color go away. Thank you. Okay, so let's bring back our... Whoops, I put this right over top of it. Well, that's not helping. So I will just select the... I just want us to get the one underneath it. I just want the under one. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so another reason to use the big G is that it starts with a G. It is a typeface that starts with the letter G. Use the big G. Makes sense. But when you're saying it, break it up into syllables. So Girassol. You have your two syllables. One starts with G, one starts with S. So to symbolize that, we could use the G and the S. So we can grab our big giant G, which isn't so giant, but we will make it giant. We can make it the same size, pressing Shift, as the G. Make it nice and big here. So they are the same. How's that? Yep, those are the same. And we will do the same, but different. So now we can bring in some color, I think. Or maybe we can move that up. Oh yeah, like that. Okay, now we definitely need the color. So this typeface, let's see. If we look up into our description of it, it was inspired by the hand-painted street signs in and around Carcavelos, Portugal. I'm probably butchering how you pronounce that. I hate doing that. I want to be able to pronounce everything properly. Okay, anyway, Portugal. So we can take the Portugal flag has a bright red, right? I should double check that. But we can use a bright red color. That is very bright red, though. Is that too bright red? No, I think that's probably the right kind of red. But we can make it darker just for our own aesthetic purposes. It doesn't need to be crazy bright because we are making this poster. Ta-da! So we've got a nice red here. And I think we should move this to the back. So you can either go, click on it, and then right-click, arrange, move to back. Or you can just do the Control-Shift, and then the wiggly bracket one. What's that called? The wiggly bracket? I know it has a better name. Never mind. Let's just use this one if you don't know what it is. Otherwise, do the keyboard command. With the wiggly bracket, the wiggly one. And then clip to canvas to see your poster. What have we got? I don't like this. It's too right on the edge. If you're going to have it right on the edge, you got to make sure it is maybe over a little bit, just so you don't get like a weird white line there when you're all done. So how do we like this? It's not bad. Maybe we'll move this over a little bit. Okay. What about this? This is kind of in a weird place. What if we bump it right up against the G here? That's better. Okay. Okay, what else to do? This is awkward right here as well, unfortunately. It's just not great, but it is at least the same angle as this G, so that's good. But that doesn't work as well. So what if we just made it a little bigger? Yeah, there's no rule. We can just make it bigger. See? Yeah, we just made it bigger. But now we have this awkward part down here. Well, what do we do? We could make it... Okay, I need to take off these. So these are all my force pixel alignment and all my snapping stuff. And if we take it off, we have more free movement. We're not trying to align this perfectly to anything else, so we don't need to have that on at the moment. So let's shimmy it over a bit. And what if I bring it up? Yeah, I'm going to have to completely adjust all of this. And that's okay. I can just make everything bigger too. Just everything bigger. So let's zoom out. We will make the G a bit bigger because we already made the S bigger, so why not? Just a little bigger. And why don't we make it bigger this way and have it going that way a bit more? And then what about that S? That's a bit better. And can we move it? We still have this part. Where should we put it? We can go up. Oh, my, right. This is, I'm gonna have to redo that now. Whoops, I probably should have grouped those together. So I'm just gonna go Control Z and get back to when my Girassol was perfectly aligned with my G, and click on that, and then click on the G, and then group those together. So now they will change size together. And now I will make my G a little bigger. So I'm just going to make it bigger, and I don't have to press shift because it is automatically constraining to proportions. And let's bring this down, maybe. And what are we going to do with the S? Like this. Maybe bring the S down. But then this is a problem. So we make the S bigger, but we do have to press shift. Oh, the inconsistencies. My goodness. Okay, how's that? That's awkward. Right there. Do not want that. We do not want. We want, and this, oh my goodness. This is a mess. What is this? An absolute disaster. Shimmy it over. Shimmy it away. And what do we do now? We move this over. Okay. Have we fixed it? Why does this L? No. No. You were not supposed to do that. And this is why it takes designers so long to do very, very simple changes. You're welcome. Now you know. Yeah. If you didn't already, now you know. Let's zoom in to that and just fix it. Fix it. So it's perfect. You're not perfect. It has to be perfect. Doesn't it know it needs to be perfect? Okay, that might have to be good enough because this is going to drive me nuts. Come on. There we go. Are you perfect yet? You're perfect. Okay, let's zoom all the way out or press Control 0 to just bring full pages back. Okay, so now they are perfect and super happy together. This is still a problem, so we're going to move this down. Yeah, okay. So no weird thing here, nothing weird here. This is the, it's cutting into the A nicely. Nothing weird happening. I'm not sure about this. It doesn't necessarily need to be there. Like I could actually just erase that entirely because we don't really need it. Or I could bring this over. Okay, let's look at this balance wise. So we have some large shapes here. We have our text down here. What do you look at first? Well, you're going to look at the text first because everything else just kind of looks like abstract shapes. And you're not going to notice it's actually the letters, right away. You might later, or you might never notice. There's quite a big difference between the sizes of this giant G and this little itty bitty G over here. So what do? Should we move it all? Should we move all of it over? Well, I'm going to press Control A and I'm going to move all of it over just using my arrow keys to gently move it over. And then we have the weird stuff back. So I'll move it back a little bit like that. And then we have more weird stuff. If you are happening to follow along at home, you're probably not having the same issues because you would have placed it slightly different from mine. And you're probably going, what the hell? Like, why is she doing all this? But it's because of how I place mine and the size of mine. Then I'm trying to make it look good and it's just not happening. It's very particular, this design work. Very particular. Okay, why don't I maybe give this a border? Because I want to get rid of that. Yes, I could just delete it, but I want to see how it looks with a border. So let's add a border. Simple. Well, let's go to the rectangle tool. And I'm going to put my guides and my snapping back on because I need to snap to the edges of the page and draw a big old rectangle there. Go up to here and just take off the fill color and keep the stroke color on. Then go to stroke and make it whatever size you want. And do make sure you've got your miter joins. You've got nice sharp geometric angles for your edges. And then you want it probably to align to your inside there, like that. See, if we put it outside, it's gone because it's on the outside. And then our inside and our center. So definitely for this, we want inside because we are doing, well, a border. So that's pretty straightforward. I think 28.7 is a bit much, but what about 20? What about 20? I like it with the border. It's a bit more stylized, but what if we have that under, and then the red over top? Well, that doesn't help us here, unfortunately, but I don't hate it. What if we make the red brighter? Bring it back to that red we had before, just slightly. Okay, that's not mandatory, but I did it anyway. Okay, so how are we looking? Let's zoom out a bit. Is that going to be weird on those edges? I hope not. So I like some of the forms that we have going on in here. I don't like this, but I could also maybe bring that up and use that somehow. So it's just like right up against the border like that. Or does that draw the eye too much? I think that might draw the eye too much because it looks like a mistake and it's not working for me. So let's bring that down and make it go away. But I don't want this top of the S to be there either because it's not working. So let's make that go away too. And look at what we've got. Now this, let's bring this down a bit. I'm going to group that and bring it down. Just because again, we have that little weird gap in the A. So I don't want it to look like that because there's a little gap there. We want it to be deliberate looking. And then we zoom out. Okay, so that is ours. How super simple is this? So super simple. It'll take you half an hour of very tiny little pixel adjustments. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, AI could never do those tiny little adjustments. Yeah, okay. I'm not selling designers here. Okay. I just whacked my elbow on the table. Ow. So what if we bring some text in now? Yeah, that's right. But I'm going to do stuff to it. So let's Alt and drag it so we have a nice little copy of it. Move that away. It's too close. It's too close. And let's zoom in again. And what do I want? I don't think I want this part yet. I might add that later. And I'm going to have this not as the all caps, but as just the normal. Ooh, you have another option if you click small caps. That's cool. I mean, the typeface was designed in small caps anyway, so we'll just leave it as is. So I'm going to copy all of that, drag that away, and I'm going to see if I can put the text in the middle, but not like in the middle like this, but on an angle. So you can try doing this, where you've got your box, where you got your the text box basically, and then you could try to move it around, but that's not really great. You could do that, but what if it fits in there and it's not at a weird angle? Hey, there's an idea. So let's undo that. Goodbye, text. Go away over here. And then we are going to use artistic text tool. So first I'm going to draw a shape using the pen tool. I'm going to draw a shape here and across and down. I want to make a very similar shape to what we have in the S so far. And another line, and then up here. And then I'm going to do artistic text tool and just have that. Oh, I missed it, didn't I? No, wow, no, that is not what we are after. Frame text tool? No, no, I think we messed up. We've got that. Let's take the stroke off because we do not need the stroke or the fill color here. Okay. So using the frame text tool, I'm just going to click anywhere inside it and then go Control V, and it copies right into the little shape that I made. So it just kind of flows nicely with the S there. Does it look great? I mean, is it easy to read? It's not as easy to read. It's sometimes, especially when you're using a very like a stylized typeface like this, it can be hard to read black on red, unfortunately. We could try to do it in white though, because we already have white. Is that slightly easier? Yeah, that is slightly easier. It doesn't look as good though. And I think we're going more for aesthetics. I mean, it works either way because this is red is a fairly middle color, as in it's as dark as it is light. So white or black will work on it. We could also lighten it up if we wanted. We could bring it up like that. Well, now we're just getting pink. So let's undo that. We don't need to do that. Okay. Yeah, that's design. So at this point, you can decide if you want to make any adjustments to these. So I'm using the node tool to grab the individual little nodes here, and I can change it based on that. And this is a good thing to know for literally anything in design, because you're going to have a lot of opportunities to do some fancy text blocks, and it's good to know how to do them, whether that is in Affinity Designer or Publisher or InDesign or whatever it is. It's good to know how to do it. I think it is a little bit easier actually in the desktop publishing software, because it should be. That's what it's made for. This isn't made for large blocks of text, but it still works. So I'm going to, sorry, I totally missed that. I'm just going to bring this down to the next line because it flows a bit better. And let's go in a bit. Let's see. This is kind of a long word. Maybe we bring that into the next line, just pressing Shift and Enter to bring it to the next line, just so it flows visually a bit better. Does that flow better, or is that way worse? Let's undo all of that and compare. Maybe we just need attempts, because this is one that just seems to be sticking out a bit more. Well, acknowledging. Okay. So, so this is written in first person. So I don't know if we want to have it written in first person because we're doing a poster. And we want it to be a bit more, about the font, about Girassol, not about the author or the designer's relationship to the font. So we can change that, or we can get some new information. So I will see what we've got. Or how about, what if we do this? Why if we grab the author's name here, the designer of the font, of the typeface, and just put that at the bottom. So we're just going to do a little dash and designed by, here we go. But now it's still reading as a first person, but this is designed by. So we probably want to change that a bit. Is that all caps? Yeah, that's all caps. Let's see. What do we want to do with that? Let's zoom out again. Or we could put Liam Spradlin. Let's see. We do that. Designer. Designed by... I want to make sure this is reading properly and that it actually makes sense. So I think maybe I will just get rid of some of the text here. So it attempts to collect, synthesize, and lovingly evoke the identity and spirit of the region in which the original forms were encountered, period. I think we'll end it there. Designed by Liam Spradlin. I think that works best. Then it's a little less text because, I mean, we don't really want to have a ton of text here anyway. We just want to keep the essence of the typeface and a little bit of the, about the designer of the typeface. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, we can do whatever we want. This isn't for a client. So we can get crazy or we can not get crazy with it. It's up to us. So yeah, we don't need to do anything really at all. But I think maybe we should give it a background color, because the harsh white and the harsh black is great. But what if we make it not that way? So I'm going to ungroup that with Control-Shift-G, and I'm going to change my color here. So I'm going to use let's go up to select, same, and fill color, and I'm not going to make it black. So I'm going to make it like a dark gray, maybe a bluey dark gray. So it's just off black a bit. Yeah, okay. Oh, and so that changed these ones, but this one is actually a stroke color, so that would not have changed. I only changed the ones with that stroke color. Okay, and then the red is good, and we have this, and again, the background color. So let's do a nice background color. What background color should we do? Control-Shift, wiggly bracket, the square brackets. It's that one. Or arrange. Just moved it back. Okay, we'll take off the stroke from that, and let's give it a bright yellow. No, it's no. That's too much. We can do a lovely beige color, beige-ish, just like that. It's like a beige gray, a beige. How do you mix beige and gray? Grayish. Okay, grayish. That's a fun word. Let's zoom in. What's happening here? Oh, not good. Boop. Okay, done. I just caught that, and it was that I couldn't let that go. How am I supposed to let that go? Okay, so I think our poster is pretty much done. It is a very, very simple type poster. You can do more stuff. You can add more things if you want. You can get very experimental with it. We can move this around and put it wherever we like. Do we like it there better? Oh, you know what? I kind of do. But only kind of. Not completely. I like that it's still there, but it's more of it's more blending into the G somehow than it was before. Do we like that more? See, I don't know. Let's just undo that and compare. This is definitely more promotional, like Girassol. And in the information, it's like promoting it to us. It's less experimental. We're not, aside from these forms, we're not really getting very crazy and experimental, and that's okay. We don't have to, but we could definitely try once everything is done to get a little bit crazier. Why don't we add first a little bit of noise? So I like adding noise to these very just kind of solid color posters. So to do that, I'm going to click on what I want to have noise, make sure I'm on my fill color, go to color, press this button here to switch to noise, and I'm just going to do about 20%. And I'm going to do the same thing, hitting the stroke there, and the same exact thing to all of the shapes. And I'm sorry, all of the colors, all of the shapes and all the colors. And I'm going to do the same with this. That also has... Did I already do that? No, I didn't already do that. Why is it not letting me do it? I think I have to ungroup it. Ungroup, and then go back in and do 20%. and then group it again. And now it's the same as that. Okay, so that is our final poster. I'm going to save that. If you haven't already saved, make sure you're saving a lot, because one tiny like windstorm and power outage could ruin all of your progress. And I guarantee you that will happen. If you're a brand new designer, at some point, the power will go out and you will lose everything if you have not saved. Or hell, even it can happen even if you have saved and it just like corrupts your file. I've had that too. Although that was a while ago. That was before we had like the nice autosave features and stuff, or the auto backup features or something. It was a while ago. So we have our poster. We have our poster clipped to canvas, so we see what it looks like. This is our unclipped version. We can bring it over here. I'm just selecting the whole thing and pressing Shift-Alt to duplicate the whole thing. And from here, you can kind of get a bit more crazy. You can, let's see what happens if we rotate the whole thing. Actually, let's rotate everything except the background and except this border. So like that. Nope, that did the background. Okay, we want everything. Darn it. Okay, try that again. Okay, what have we got? Okay, we want the text too. And rotate just to see how it looks. So what is that? Oh, that's not bad. That's kind of fun, actually. Ooh. Yeah, okay. So it's a little bit more experimental, a little bit more fun. I am just going to select all and unselect those ones. I need the text and move it over just a little bit. I don't need that one. What is happening? I don't. Okay, I'll just move it after. We will do it to here. Okay, so we have nothing weird going on. We have a few weird things, but we can adjust it from here because I do really like this angle. That looks kind of cool. Okay, yeah, so that's fun. I like that. Okay, yeah, definitely a little more fun. And we've got our text still, and that needs to be right there. We can make that go off the page a little bit just so we don't have any issues. As for this, yeah, I like it with the border actually. Why don't we align it to the center? Sometimes if you have things that go right to the edge of a page, when you export it as like a JPEG or a PNG, you'll find out then that it's not like touching the edge perfectly. Although, I mean, this looks like it is. It just drives me nuts when it doesn't do that. But I think we're good with this. Okay, so that is what I mean right there. Can you see it? Can you see it? Okay, it's an illusion. Okay, anyway, so that is the finished poster design. It's pretty simple. We could add some more stuff. You could add some like little, let's see, we could do, I'm always like, what else should I add? What else should I add? It's very, very like anti-designer of me. I'm supposed to be, what else can I take away? But I'm always, what do we want to add to it? Like a crazy person. We could do tiny little S's or little O's everywhere. Ooh, tiny O's. Tiny O's, yeah. Like little Cheerios all over the page. Yep, Cheerios. Why don't we get our noise back in there? We'll do 20% on that one again. And we can do some tiny little O's. I don't know why. Just see if we like it. Just real tiny. Like real tiny here. What if we get it at the same angle? Like, nope. That is not a standard angle, so that's pretty good. So we have our little O's at the same angle as the rest of it. And we can decide if we want to put these all over the place. So I'm just clicking Alt and dragging to make new ones. I can do the same thing here with this red. Gonna make sure I've still got my noise on. Same thing here. Okay. I don't hate that. It's kind of cool. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it, but I do like all of that. I just am uncertain. So why don't we just make all of that grouped together so I can change my mind if I need to later and just make it go away. Or I can do something even crazier and duplicate it like that. No, I think we're getting too crazy now. Yeah, I think I've lost it. I've lost the plot. Okay. Yeah. But point is, you can do that. You can do whatever you want. You can add, you can get crazy, you can just try to just experiment with the actual typeface and the form. So don't, for example, don't draw in like new shapes. I mean, the border is fine. You can draw a border. Don't use the letter forms for a border. It's not going to work. But try not for the actual structure of the poster. Try to use not shapes like this. Try to use the actual letter forms from the typeface because it's fun, because it gets you to explore the actual typeface and the angles and how serifs work. Like this is a really unique serif. I quite like it. It's got these really soft curves, but it's also got some really harsh angles. It's just a really unique typeface, and I quite like this one. And even if you aren't using this typeface, just experiment with it. Try to use the actual letter forms as part of the structure of the whole thing because it's fun and it's a good exercise. That's it. So what else can we do? I don't know. I think maybe we are done for now because we're just going to keep adding more things and making it more complicated, and we don't need to do that. Oh, I forgot to add noise here. Well, we should add that actually. 20%. Little bit of noise. You can zoom in and see that beautiful noise. Ah, the noise. So lovely. So I think we are basically done for now. But again, if there's anything else you want to do, just play around with it. You could also even grab one of the big letter forms, duplicate it, and just give it a stroke. Or like that, and a little bit slightly larger stroke, and play around with that. Like, does that add anything to the design? Does it make it look even more interesting, or maybe even worse? Who knows? You just gotta keep experimenting and having fun, and eventually you'll learn some pretty cool stuff. And that's just how it works. See, I don't hate that, but I don't really like how it's cutting into that anyway. Regardless, you could do whatever you want. So yeah, add some stuff. It's without this, it's already pretty minimalist. It's a very like simple minimalist typography or typographic poster. So you don't have to do that. You can make it however you want and whatever you like. And if you want, print it out, put it on your wall, because that's what I like doing. Okay, I'm going to delete that, and I am going to call it done. This is what we've got. The font Girassol type poster. It's very simple. I hope you enjoyed making it. I hope that made sense. Everything I did, I hope it made sense. Please let me know if it was too complicated or I missed anything, because I always forget to do stuff, and like I don't know how to like always make things really, really simplified, because I've been doing certain things a certain way for so long. So just let me know, and I will try to fix that in future videos. So thank you guys so much for watching. I should also probably say like and subscribe, because I literally have never said that before, and it's so like weird to say that, but I think I'm supposed to say it, as one is supposed to do on YouTube anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's all I got. All right. Thanks. Bye.